Michele, you have mentioned to me that you have a dream for the future. And I would love if you, would just share what you feel called to share about that. I don't know how long it is, if you can share the whole thing, but I'm sure we would all love to hear it. And when you think about your dream for the future, how are you currently building a bridge towards that future now? Like, what are some of the things that the insights that you've had that pivoted your direction and how you're working towards that?
Thank you for the question. I'll just share a little snippet about the dreams that I have, and I'll go on to the next part to talk through kind of what I'm doing today to help with that. I'll start with, I have a dream that women will rise to every level in leadership and finance, in real estate and beyond, not as tokens, but as trailblazers. That young girls will look to this industry and see not just opportunities, but role models who will prove that ambition and empathy can coexist. That strength and grace are not contradictions, but complements. I have a dream of a future that no one is excluded from opportunity because of where they were born, color of their skin, or the size of their wallet, where investors look not at just the numbers, but narratives, recognizing that behind every startup, every building, every pitch deck is a human story waiting to be told. And so what I'm doing now today is I'm utilizing the existing infrastructure that is and have built the crazy finance structure that we have today, right? So I've made a lot of money for a lot of wealthy people, and they became wealthier because of that. Throughout that process, I've decided that I don't want to do that anymore. So I've decided to democratize the institutional type opportunities for investors just like everyday individuals, so that we can also get behind some of the large infrastructure type deals that they're able to negotiate. But instead of writing that $50 million check, which not a lot of us have, we can write smaller check sizes and come along for the ride. Not only that, it's also important for us to really seek internally and decide what kind of investments you're wanting to get behind. A lot of these are blocked into hedge funds, blocked into different fund managers that are diversified across different sectors. And I think it's quite important to really understand where your portfolio and what it's funding and fueling. And so for us, it's really important to not put our funds into weapons of mass destruction, into toxic waste type, things that might create a lot of profits up front, but deplete the earth and also our communities on the back end. It's also important that as we go into the AI and data center development, that the energy that's being sucked up by the data center development does not flow through and make our energy on the consumer side and raise prices, because that is really what we're looking at today. And so the companies that we invest in are technology companies that are free of emissions and completely green. And we spent a lot of time diligencing not just the technology, but also the people, companies, and operations that stand behind them. Thank
you. Naomi, I was reflecting on what you had shared about, making the circular economy no longer political, because it's now closing the loop and it's actually beneficial for organizations. And unfortunately, a big problem with especially large corporate organizations, their first and foremost primary objective is to make money for their shareholders, which can sometimes come into conflict with making decisions that might cost more upfront or, longer scale change. So, and that's really disheartening, I think, especially for the younger generations, right? We hear the mental health crisis, and it's a lot. It weighs a lot on the younger generations, as well as, I'm sure, all of us. So give us some good news. What are you excited about in this space? Like, what is truly happening? What's progressing? You get a peek into really large-scale change within the circular economy. So what are you most excited about right now?
Did I mention my pen? Did I already mention my pen? I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So earlier when I was introducing myself, I talked about this algorithm that I wrote.
One thing I'm excited about is I just received the patent for it this past week. And we're working with the city of Los Angeles, a few major contracts with LA Metro and in the run-up to the Olympics and the World Cup. But really what I'm excited about is, if I could just kind of go back a little bit, you know, I've been in manufacturing also very male-dominated, and I remember, this was like, I'm dating myself, but about 25 years ago, I had this idea of, could we potentially circularize this waste? It just seems like because I study all the raw material inputs that go into manufacturing, I see all the pollutants that go out, it just seemed like it was just this massive amount of waste. And talking about kind of being affected with the male-dominated industry, I was told, you know what, you've got your environmental engineering degree, that's great, but leave the business to us. You don't understand this. So I took that at face value. I said, man, I got to be able to talk this talk. So I went to business school. I did learn a few things there, but in all honesty, the concept was sound before I ever got there. And they just weren't receptive to it. And I think what I'm excited about is when you have more of that female voice, and now I do have the credentials, right? I can say I have an environmental engineering degree from MIT, I have an MBA from Columbia, come at me. But it takes having the reps, right? So I have that credibility, but honestly, the sad part is the idea was sound 25 years ago. This should have been put in place 25 years ago. That's on me, that's my fault. So what I'm excited is that we are now putting that into place. We are seeing major corporations that are embracing that. I will say in large part because their European counterparts are leading the way and they're seeing what's possible there. But with the design of our database, what it is this matching algorithm so that for people who have no idea what they could use as an alternative material for their operations, because it's a daunting prospect. You have to understand the science behind it, the environmental impacts, will it actually work, and will I be able to still produce my widget, my product, at the same quality level, right? That's a lot to research. So what our platform is designed to do is actually do all that matching for you with a certified degree of confidence. And my hope is that in the future, that there will be no such thing as waste. Waste simply means that we quit too soon in the design process. So that's what I'm excited for, is that we're moving away from this take, make, waste culture into more of a circularized. And I think when you start engaging in that type of thinking, that it's not only in that one particular aspect, but just imagine how that can ripple to other ideas that we could have and how it could impact other decision making.
I'm just like in awe, and I'm so lucky to have you on the advisory board. I mean, I'm just thinking with MILO, we want to, and I mean, you know this, we want to reclaim and reshape and rebuild the CPG industry to be fundamentally regenerative from the beginning. So just imagine applying something like that to CPG to move away from legacy. And, hopefully I do hope that legacy does start changing in that direction as well. I think that's important, but I just see so much possibility with something like that. So, wow.